Well, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Tyler's Real Fishing. This is the Underwater series. The topic of today's video is a question that I think many fishermen have asked at one point, in their fishing journey, and that is, do bass eat goldfish? I think a lot of us walking down the aisles at PetSmart have wondered what would happen if I stuck this goldfish on a hook. Would a fish eat this? And so that is the question that we are going to answer in today's video, and the way that we are going to do that is by comparing it to quite possibly the most realistic piece of bait you can use, a live minnow. And so we found some fish underwater on beds. We're going to throw down a live minnow and we're going to throw down a goldfish in different orders every time to see what bass actually prefer. Now, of course, yes, these bass are spawning, so their behavior will not be totally like the rest of the year, but I think this footage is still very cool for instruction and for really just seeing how these fish react to these baits. So with this first fish, let's drop in the goldfish, as you see there on the right side of your screen, and see how the fish reacts. That's interesting. So as you can see there, the fish shows a little bit of interest in the goldfish, but not enough to make him strike and eat it. So now what we're going to do is throw in the live minnow to see if this fish reacts any differently. And so as you can see right there, this fish seems to be a lot more in tuned to eating this minnow. I don't think the fish was as aggressive as this toward the goldfish, but as you can see right there, he noses down on it, his eyes are fixed on it. He seems to be, wanting to eat the minnow a lot more than he does the goldfish. Even though he's still not super aggressive towards it, I think that he realizes this is actually a real meal and a real threat to his nest than the goldfish was. And throughout this video, I'm sure you're going to notice that these minnows and goldfish are not very lively. I tried to get the biggest, most hardy ones that I could, but of course, it doesn't always work out that way. This fish is definitely reacting better toward the live minnow than he is the goldfish. And so with this minnow on its last leg, I think the fish realized that it could take advantage of that, and boom, it eats it. So pretty interesting to see that the fish reacted better to the live minnow than the goldfish. So let's take another look at another fish. We dropped the goldfish in there. This one is definitely a lot more hardy. It is swimming around. But the bass doesn't seem to care at all. The first bass showed a little bit of interest in the goldfish, but this one not so much. But what's funny is, as you can see there, the bluegill actually shows more interest in the goldfish than the bass does. And the bass does not take very lightly. The bluegill swimming around his nest, so quickly chases the bluegill off. So I was not able to get that fish to react to either the bluegill or the minnow, so we're going to move on to one more fish. Now this fish is a little bit different because I throw the minnow down there, but this fish doesn't seem to really react to it at all. It almost shows the same tendencies the first fish showed to the goldfish. Until right there, until the minnow gets to a certain point in the bed and it just kind of sits there. The minnow isn't really doing a whole lot, it's in the fish's face that he ends up eating it. But it wasn't really eating it, he kind of sucked it in and spit it back out. So after the minnow, I put the goldfish in there to see if he would react any differently. And I'm trying to aggravate this fish as much as I can. That goldfish is swimming around. It's a hardy goldfish, and still the fish is not eating it. But right there, he took a nab at it. And I think it was because the fish forgot it was there. All of a sudden, the goldfish was in its line of sight, in its mouth, and boom, he ate it. And so that's what you're going to see right here. Water's moving around, boom, the goldfish is right in its way, and he eats it. And so to conclude this video, I don't really know whether bass eat goldfish or whether they eat minnows more. But I think because of this research, I have more evidence to say I would rather throw a live minnow down there than I would a goldfish. And I think, of course, at different times of the year, I might find different results. But I think because of this test, my hypothesis that I had at the beginning was correct, and that is that bass eat live minnows more than they eat goldfish. Well, that is the video, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed. Again, please subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content and drop a like below. If you missed any of my last underwater videos or the tournament series, they'll be linked up in the corners. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Tyler's Real Fishing.